Want to break down on some of the latest topics from college to the pros? We interview many individuals to share their knowledge about the news stories surrounding the teams and its players. This is Nothing But That Sports Talk. And welcome to Nothing But That Sports Talk. I'm Rafique Louison alongside Tykera Carter. I see you must have had a very long, relaxing day as we're still quarantined to everything that's been going on since the fact that we have no real sports going on. Like, how you feel about everything going on with the sports world and stuff?
Honestly, I believe the sports world made the right decision to shut things down before the virus could have spread throughout from referees, coaches, players, and fans. I thought it was the right decision, although I do love sports and I'm missing it at this moment. Sometimes you have to make those tough decisions, and I know it wasn't easy at that moment, coming to that conclusion that shutting sports down and postponing the NBA season for a while and canceling March Madness was the right thing to do.
Yeah, it was the right thing to do. As much as we don't want to see any sport get canceled whatsoever, and I know this is like your very it's like how many years you've been doing commentary? Like your very first year doing commentary, and all of a sudden it gets shortened like that at Howard University.
Yeah, for sure. This is my second year doing commentary.
Second year, yeah.
It didn't affect me as much as it affects individuals who were set to do March Madness and set to be the sideline reporter for CBS Sports Network and all these other tournaments that were still going on, such as the Big Ten men's basketball tournament, which got canceled, and the MEAC was in the middle of their tournament. So it doesn't necessarily affect me because I wasn't set to do those tournaments, but to know that there's a lot of freelancers out there who will not be getting paid at this moment or who lost out on money, sure, but an awesome and amazing opportunity to be a part of March Madness is, I think, what kind of resonates with me the most, because you want to see those people have those opportunities in which they work for.
And you got a lot of people getting laid off, open the door for more people to get jobs at this time. But then again,
I believe so. I think also, I can't speak for the job force right now. I feel as though with all that's going on, a lot of places might be on hiatus just because it's a little hectic and stuff like that, and it might be hard to hire people in the process.
Yeah, like how is it? Well, if you see New York City, you would know that it's not really the New York City you would have been accustomed to if you went there a while back. Because I understand you came down to New York when Sacred Heart was playing St. Francis. Like, why don't you reflect a little bit about that game, like as far as how it felt watching the team you went to school with facing St. Francis for, yeah.
It was a great experience, of course, as always. I love going back to Sacred Heart. I love seeing the players, and there's still a few girls on the team that I do know. After next year class graduate, I officially won't know anyone on the team anymore, so I support as much as I can and when I can. So it was an awesome opportunity to go up and be able to watch my old team play. And yes, there was a lot of people in New York around that time, and it was actually around the time when the coronavirus was starting to become serious. So I saw some people walking around with masks on and stuff like that. But in the same breath, it was still just nice to see my school play.
Yeah, and well, it's also kind of sad that Sacred Heart couldn't advance too far in the tournament. Well, unlike LIU Brooklyn, when Julius Betts had a crazy game-winning shot to get LIU out of the first round, and that was just nuts. Well, I don't know if you watched the game, but if you did, you would understand that was just we barely won that game, and well, I don't know. It's just a lot going on, and why don't we just get into some of your favorite teams of all time in the NBA? What are your top NBA playoff teams of all time during the 2010s?
During 2010s, I mean, I'm a Lakers fan, so that's it for me, really. I love the Lakers. I'll always be a Lakers fan, so can't really think that far. I didn't prepare for the 2010 question, so I'm not even sure who was popping then, for real. I can't even think, but I just know I'm a Lakers fan. I'll always be a diehard Lakers fan.
Okay. Since you're a diehard Lakers fan, the 2010 Lakers versus the 2019 Toronto Raptors, who would you root for?
I'm going to choose the Lakers because I'm a Lakers fan.
Yeah, Kobe Bryant would have been a tough matchup for Kawhi Leonard in 2019 anyway, considering how many game-winning shots he had during the 09-2010 season and what was his last championship before he retired in 2016 and sadly passed away in 2020. I don't know if you ever got to see it, but I did like a two-part episode where I paid tribute to Kobe Bryant and the fact that he passed away after he did so much both in the sports industry and the entertainment industry. It just still hurts 2 months later. Like, what went through your mind when you knew about Kobe Bryant passing away?
It really hurt. First of all, because that was my favorite player growing up. I always used to watch Kobe. Always was excited to see him and not only watch him on the court, but watch the documentaries that he had when he was coming back, Mamba Mentality. And to know that he had a family is even more disheartening, and losing his daughter along the way is very heartbreaking. So just like the rest of the sports world, I was in shock. I was in awe. I didn't believe it at first. And then, when you come to the realization, Kobe seems like a person who's almost like untouchable, and you realize he was human just like the rest of us, but it almost felt as though he wasn't because of all of his accomplishments and what he meant to the basketball world.
Yeah, he really meant a lot to the basketball world. I've been watching him since like 2006, the year we had an 81-point game, and then later on he had the game-winning shot against Steve Nash's Phoenix Suns, even though they did go on to choke that 3-1 series lead that year. But what are your top three Kobe Bryant moments of all time?
Gosh, you just laying the questions on me. I didn't prepare for this. I would say definitely when he scored 81 points. That was very, memorial, especially for just watching the way this guy goes out. Like, his mentality is crazy. Kobe's last game was also one of my favorite moments because, man, it's like to watch him go out in such stellar fashion. You don't see that. That just proved that he was great. And then I would like to say another one of my favorite Kobe Bryant moments. Man, it's tough because he has so many. Probably when he shot the free throw when he tore his Achilles and still managed to walk off the floor, because he's just that much of an incredible player to fight through adversity, and he just showed how tough he is. He just showed that he had a mentality that was unlike many others.
Yeah, when you're looking back at that injury that he suffered in 2013, that pretty much ended Kobe Bryant's era. Well, not ended his era altogether, but the playoff mentality that Kobe Bryant had, that pretty much like ended it all, because the Lakers didn't go to the playoffs for the rest of Kobe Bryant's era, and the years before LeBron James and Anthony Davis paired up after that. And now you see Anthony Davis and LeBron James coming together, putting together this Laker roster that we're seeing right now. Like, what amazed you about LeBron and Anthony Davis's Lakers this season?
I just think that they're a dynamic duo. Anthony Davis is bought in on the defensive end of the floor. Of course, he's a defensive machine, but he's also a weapon on the offensive end. So I love that Anthony Davis is a two-way player. LeBron, at his age, still being able to move the way he is, being able to continue to jump, be that dynamic scorer, is kind of what I love about their duo. And I feel as though they feed off of one another. And maybe LeBron has a bad game, but Anthony Davis has a great game, and you don't see really any shade thrown towards their duo. They really play well, and they can coexist together, and that's what I like about them.
Yeah, does LeBron and Anthony Davis remind you a little bit about Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal, like nearly 2 decades ago? Do you see him being that dynamic duo that Kobe and Shaq were later in the year, or when the NBA season returns?
Well, we'll just have to see if they win a championship. We won't say it quite yet, but if they can, pull it off and win a championship, then maybe they can be compared to Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah, which leads you to this question. Could you see the Lakers be another dynasty with Anthony? Well, actually, let me rephrase that. Do you see Anthony Davis coming back to the Lakers after this season is over? 100%.
I think so. I think he likes being in LA. I'm pretty sure he enjoys playing with LeBron. And I also believe that he would definitely return if they did not win a ring because he would feel as though there is unfinished business.
Yeah, there's a lot of unfinished business going on in the NBA when it comes back, and well, the fact that we're not going to see any of the top NBA greats being able to defend their gold medal at the Olympics later this year because the Olympics got postponed, that's just like another example of how serious taking care of your health is. Like, as a as a former sports athlete, how do you manage to quarantine during this whole thing going on?
I honestly, I mean, are you talking about from a sports perspective
From a
or
sports perspective, or just life in general.
in general? I can't help speak for it because I'm still working, so I'm not necessarily quarantining. I work 3 days a week, and I had to work 3 days a week last week, so I can't really speak on that issue. As far as sports, I'm sure these NBA players aren't having a hard time staying in the house and spending time with their families. A lot of them have indoor facilities in their house where they can work out, so I'm pretty sure they're doing a great job of that. As individuals, some people still have to go into work. Some people, are forced to kind of be outside. So everyone does not have the luxury of staying at home right now, like is being advocated. So, sort of until then, we will see if they do implement a plan to really make people stay at home. But as for me, I'm still going to my part-time job, so I don't have that luxury.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, considering what's been going on, I wish you did not. I wish you did not to go outside just to stay safe. But yeah, like since March Madness is not happening this year, why don't you like name your top three Final Four teams of all time?
Of all time, like in no specific order.
Yeah, like for what you see during your lifetime growing up as a basketball fan and a basketball player in general, like what are your top three NBA, excuse me, NCAA teams of all time in Final Four teams?
Well, I'm a big UNC fan, so I'm always going to choose UNC. I think UNC pretty much, they dominate when they get to the tournament and typically do well, although they didn't have a great season this year. Um, on the women's side, UConn, of course, UConn, they're a dynasty. And I think, although they haven't won the past few years, you don't have to win a championship every single year to be a dynasty. We know that Gino Auriemma is a great coach, and we know that the UConn program is everything. I'm going to go with Michigan State. Michigan State is pretty great program on the men's basketball side. I do like Coach Izzo. I like the program that he runs. I think the team has a lot of grit, work hard. And then the last Final Four team that I'll go with, I'll say Notre Dame for women. I like Notre Dame. I like Muffet McGraw. I like what she's been able to do with the programs. We used to see the epic battles of Maya Moore go up against Skylar Diggins when they played back in the Final Four. And I really like the fact that Notre Dame is pretty consistent with going far in the tournament on the women's side when they've been in the Big East as well as the ACC.
Yeah, honestly, I would have picked Notre Dame as one of the top three Final Four teams of all time these past 10 years. Well, actually, all time in general because Akira Kurowawa was just too clutch back then. Like she's the reason why they won those championships. I mean, come on, man, you can't stop Akira Kurowawa. Oh wait, actually you can't. All you need is Sabrina's from Oregon. What you think about Sabrina's game this year and how she's developed from losing in the Final Four last year to having these all-time stats leading up to the WNBA draft?
I like Sabrina Ionescu a lot. Sabrina, she's tough, mentally tough. Definitely a woman who has Kobe mentality. She works hard. I believe that she is in a category of her own for a reason. The only woman to score 2,000 points, have 1,000 rebounds, and 1,000 assists. Like that's not easy to do at all. So for her to be able to accomplish that, but also to have the grit when she know that she could have left school and to come back is pretty amazing if you ask me. And her reasoning behind coming back was because Kobe watched her video and broke it down and she vowed to get better in those areas in which she saw as weaknesses, and she took it as a challenge. And that's why I think Sabrina Ionescu is a great player, and she'll go down as one of the greatest women's college basketball players, I believe, in all time.
Yeah, Sabrina Ionescu actually spoke at the Kobe Bryant Memorial like over a month ago, and she really showed how much mean that Kobe Bryant meant to her and Gigi. Gigi would have been a great talent in the NBA. Like if you've seen her highlights, she could ball. Do you think Gina would have been a great talent in the WNBA if she went that far? But then again, you can't really tell at this time.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say. I believe that she would have, of course, been a great talent, but the sky was the limit for that girl. Now, as far as going on to college, I believe she would have done that and succeeded because she had a drive to do so. And anytime I think you have the work ethic and you have the drive, it'll 9 times out of 10 work out in your favor. She had the resources, her father being Kobe Bryant, so she had the gym, the AAU team. I think everything would have worked out in her favor. So it's very unfortunate that Gianna Bryant was taken away from the world, her family, and the game of basketball so early.
Yeah, she meant a lot. I mean, we had, I don't know. I mean, it's just so speechless. But about to Sabrina Ionescu, the Liberty have the number 1 pick in the WNBA draft next month.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming that the Liberty drafts her, how much use would Sabrina Ionescu be for the Liberty franchise to turn it around? Because let's face it, it's been like a couple of years since they've been in the playoffs, and they're about to play in their first season in the Barclays Center entirely. So, yeah.
I think Sabrina Ionescu will be a great use for the New York Liberty. Like, who wouldn't want Sabrina Ionescu is the question. I think she'll automatically go into the WNBA and dominate. I think her usage rate will be very high for the New York Liberty. And I also would like to see how her and Asia Durr mesh, because we remember Asia Durr went number 2 in the WNBA draft last season. And we didn't really get to see the best of her due to, I think she has some rookie growing pains, injury, and a lot of things like that. So we'll see if they'll be able to bounce back and be a duo. And we'll also see how the New York Liberty are able to bounce back now that they have a new coach due to the fact that Katie Smith is no longer with them.
Don't forget the fact that they still got Tia Charles, a former WNBA MVP. A lot of people forget that.
You can never forget Tina Charles. She has been the heart and soul of that New York Liberty team. But I think having Sabrina Ionescu by her side will be pretty good for the New York Liberty.
What is your all-time top 5 WNBA players that you would put in your starting 5 if you was playing NBA 2K20?
I would put Cheryl Swoops. I would put Candace Parker. I would put Lisa Leslie. I would put... I said 3 so far?
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough one. I would put probably Rebecca Lobo. And my last throwback player, Cynthia Cooper. It took me forever to think about that.
When the WNBA season comes back, which team do you think is going to win it all?
I'm not sure. I'm not even going to start and answer that because that's just a tough one right now. I'll have to see how the new matchups and stuff linger out. So I'm not calling it quite yet. I don't have a who will win it all. Not yet.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I mean, there's going to be a lot of time to talk WNBA as we come to an end of this episode of Nothing But That Sports Talk. Thank you for stopping by, Tykera Carter. I'm Rafique Louison once again. And for all the guys that are out there, get your head in the game. Sports or no sports. I mean, well, we want sports to come back, but you know what I mean.